got my start in Jewish leadership here in Miami when I moved here in 2011. I joined the Bilzen Sundberg firm, the law firm, and I talked to Brian Bilzen, the founder of the firm and a great Jewish leader, and I said, Brian, what should I do? I want to get involved in the community. And Brian said, well, the Federation has a wonderful program for young leaders with the network, and it's basically a 6 or 8 month program in leadership. Go get involved. So I signed up. I went through the course. It was a fantastic course, learned a lot about myself, learned a lot about leadership. And after I completed that course, I just decided to stay involved. I served on the board of directors, then the executive committee, and became a co-chair of that organization. At around the same time, I also got involved with the Shul of Bal Harbour. I was appointed to the legal committee, which at that time was about 5 lawyers serving on the legal committee for the Shul of Bal Harbour. And we operated basically as a small law firm, advising the Shul on all sorts of day-to-day issues, policy issues, interacting with the town and other governmental agencies on behalf of the Shul, and dealing with everything that comes up. I was then appointed to the chair of the legal committee, and my role enhanced. At the time, we were going through our expansion. We were getting our expansion, our approvals from the town, going from a 50,000 square foot facility that we are now to obtaining another expansion of another 50,000 square feet to become a 100,000 square foot facility. And I was very involved with our outside attorney in securing those approvals. So during that process, I was interacting very much with our outside attorneys and with the town, getting to know a lot of people at the town level. I also got involved with the Miami Beach Eruv Council. The Eruv, as many of you know, is basically a perimeter. It's a series of poles and strings that creates a perimeter in which Orthodox Jews can carry on the Sabbath, can push strollers and carry on the Sabbath. And the Eruv in Surfside was limited in most places to the backs of the buildings on Collins Avenue. So you couldn't use our beautiful beach walks and hard pack on the ocean, which I wanted to enjoy, living on the beach, of course, and having a stroller and having a baby. So I got involved with the Eruv Council, and since I knew a lot of people at the government level, I helped the Eruv Council get their approvals to expand the Eruv out onto the beach walks, both in Surfside and in Bal Harbour. And that was a tremendous accomplishment because it helped lots of people who lived in the community and who come and visit the community be able to enjoy those beach walks and hardpack and on Shabbos and on Yom Tov. It was a tremendous enhancement. And through those interactions with local government, both on behalf of the Shul and behalf of the Eruv Council, I said to myself, well, I have over a decade's worth of experience as a land use attorney doing planning and zoning and real estate matters on behalf of developers, on behalf of governments back in New Jersey where I'd come from. And I'm not really doing that kind of work now. I'm just doing it, in a limited capacity on behalf of the Shul, on behalf of the Arif. So this is a great opportunity for me to do it on behalf of the town. There was an election coming up, and I said, I have all this experience, and there's a wonderful young community of Orthodox Jews moving to Surfside because of everything it offers. So why don't I get involved at the town level? And I said, I'll run for election. And sure enough, it worked. I became a commissioner. I've been a commissioner for the last 2 years here in Surfside. It's been a fabulous opportunity to serve that community. And now I'm up for re-election. And I'm having a great time at it, meeting a lot of people, getting support from a lot of people, and I've had the opportunity to undertake a lot of very important initiatives. One of the ones that I'm most proud of is one that I undertook rather recently. My friend in Bal Harbour, Gabe Grossman, passed legislation in his town concerning awareness of anti-Semitism. It's legislation that helps inform the local authorities on matters that might be more subtle, shades of gray of forms of anti-Semitism that they might see and help them inform when to charge a hate crime. They passed that legislation. I talked to Gabe about it, and I said, what's going on? Where are you going with this? He explained it to me, so I undertook to introduce and subsequently pass that type of legislation in Surfside. Then I said to myself, where does the rubber meet the road? The police talked to me and they said they're going to have some training and they're going to talk to their officers about how to implement it. But I said to myself, let's make it real. How do we really bring this home to the police officers who are going to be dealing with this every day? And I said, we have a fabulous resource here in the community. We have the Holocaust Memorial right here in Miami Beach. So I organized a tour of the Miami Beach, Surfside, Bal Harbour, and Indian Creek police departments of the Holocaust Memorial about 2 weeks ago. We had about 45 police officers from those agencies come and join me for a tour of the Holocaust Memorial, and they had a great time. They were exposed to something that was really new to them, that many of them had never seen before, because, why would they see that in their educational experience before? We had a Holocaust survivor there who was 94 years old and full of life. We should all be as well as him at 94 years old. And I think it was a real eye-opener to them, and really promoted the awareness to them of how anti-Semitism became prevalent in Germany at a time in the 30s and 40s when they were at society's peak, culturally, economically, educationally, were really at the peak of what Europe had to offer. Yet anti-Semitism grew into their culture and pervaded over the course of about 6 years to the point where your everyday sort of person became influenced by hate. And it became a part of their norm. It became a part of their culture. And my message to them was, this can happen here too. My message to the community is this. For some reason, we seem to be living at a time when violence and anti-Semitism are on the rise. And I'm not someone who studies these types of things. I can't tell you exactly why that is. Perhaps it has something to do with the limited interactions that we have with each other, or the way that we interact with each other increasingly through social media instead of in person. I don't really know that answer. But perhaps what I can offer you is this. Let's do more. Let's increase our personal leadership, our interactions with each other, the way we educate our children, and how we pass on our Jewish values and Jewish traditions on a day-to-day basis. Increase our charity and increase our good deeds. We are, after all, to be the light, the example for other nations. And if we can do that on a day-to-day basis, if each of us can step it up one more level, we can bring the final redemption. I like to think that Miami is a pretty open and accepting community, but at times I do feel perhaps some of the vestiges of anti-Semitism that used to exist more openly in this community. If you go back to within my own lifetime, and I didn't live here at the time, but I'm certainly told stories by Rabbi Lipsker and people who lived here in the 80s, that there was open anti-Semitism here, that if you went, for instance, to the surf club, there were signs that said, "No Jews allowed." And I sometimes do feel those vestiges, or at least remnants of those types of feelings. I don't think people express them quite as openly, but it becomes a little bit clearer in the agendas that they promote, or in sometimes how they oppose what I'm trying to accomplish politically for my community. It's more of an undertone, but it's something that I have to counter and that the community has to counter. For those of you, for my Surfside friends who are watching this before the March 20th election, I thank you for your support over the last 2 years, and I ask for your support on March 20th so that I can continue to be your voice and your advocate in Town Hall. Thank you.